Live from the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Studio in Farmington Hills, Michigan, it's the John Zia Oram Show.
شد مردوثة البايد شن بلا خيون بث نهرين معمورين شلامة وحباب براسي كلذانا يا كلذانا يا يا ذيماني ون وقثا وتزونا أتامي ون قوات الدهوة تخيري ون ما شما بشرى بمشمي ما دما بشصب يمدمي ما أمسد ليل بلم كمي كلذانا يا كلذانا يا عموري ون وبرجد باب البنية ون قانون دخاية درية ون بش منك ما بقيلد ما حيلي كوش ما دخن دقاريلي آوا مثلو أنا خيلي كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا يا برونة أمتي جبارة أمت خوال اللخ بسفارة مرمت ديش محباورة كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا
Shamaya Azize Pushkala John Zia Oram Ile #1 show.
أنا ملبانة يلدا قلة قدار نشلامي قمايا تأخوني جان زي أورم وقدار نشلامي خن زودانا الأخواتي سالم جدو وأخواتي وأخوني جان يلدا خوشابه تتهاوى بصيخ أمه وآي قصيدة زين أمرنا دها إلى تجان زي أورم بس وأني بتواب شمعة
مقبول.
يا جان زي أورم يا قورة الزونة خاثة يا جان زي أورم يا قورة الزونة خاثة اكطلب طالو صاخوثة وبيث ملي بركاثة مريم حاسيل بابوخ مرحبة ومرطاواثة تولي أموخ كم خازنوخ قورة نيخة ومكيخة اكشقلت وكياود بهديوثة بعيانة ولبخ بصيخة مريم بتهاوي أموخ وعمرخ بتاوي يريخة بس قالت كم شارتن بلوشانة بابا وساوة إيشع وتلميذ دي بقاوت سورة محكاوة كالداي كم يقريلوخ لذشولة رابة وطاوة طالخ كياون هوناي يا جان زي أورم كهند إيتا كم يقرت يلباند روح دايم مريا إيل بعيانوخ بصلوثة ديمة مريم مريا إيل بعيانوخ بصلوثة ديمة مريم وكشوقنوخ بشلامه
I'm Mario George Zoma.
This is Brooklyn Marie Hadir Yaldo.
I'm Isabella Alos.
This is Abigail Rita Hadir Yaldo.
I'm Grace Davish. Welcome to the John Zia Oram Show.
I'm Maxwell Munder Zoma. Shlama.
Shlama Maxwell. Shlam Yom Shamamo.
Shlama Yimmi Hema.
Oh, happy
Bye.
birthday to
Happy birthday to Yimmi.
Jean.
Gina.
Gina.
Gina
Who
Mendy.
named her? You did?
Huh?
Who named her? You did?
Sawi.
Oh, he named her.
Yes.
Oh, it wasn't you.
No.
What do you call her, Mom?
I call her Yom.
Yeah. I swear, you're real
I
Chaldean.
call her Yom.
Yeah. I thought she was. I saw a picture. Somebody showed you on Facebook or something.
Yes. بس يمي
I
كذا
thought it was your
كذا
older sister or so.
هرخشت خاثي بس لتي خاثة بس خشتن twins. أنا واي.
Oh, so you're her favorite?
I'm the baby.
Well, Joe Oram accused me I'm my favorite, my mom's favorite. So Joe Oram, he's the favorite too. So
أنا
Joe Oram is a favorite these days.
إيه
Yeah. You know, things. So Shlama Locho Chawatha Chatwatha, you Chomochu Idiu, will Shetha Bishwa, Ano, Paul Menni, or Michael Oram, or Bilal Hamut, Kusachan Nabdatha Imman Acho. Bilal is running for a House District 15 Karalo to Lansing. Udahak Palachab Secretary of State, Kmarchish Kabira Sharikat Secretary of State, Ait Kewi Lysenat, to license play to Siarat, and voting Secretary of State. So Ailit Taylor, very close to me for a long time. And he's a young man. I think he's 25. And you're 26, right?
Yes.
He's junior's age. All you young people. See, I keep pushing you guys. And we're going to have him as a guest, and we're going to talk about politics, siyasa, corona, why you're running. So the new district of Detroit, Michigan, the district for Congress, and Kamodila district for state, Hammond State. So it changed both ways. When you guys see this guy, he's an amazing human being. You got it? And so we're going to be with you guys till 7 o'clock at night today. And Paul's your mom's birthday?
Today's my mom's birthday.
Well,
لا كمرن ما قلع عمره.
my mom is 80.
إلا.
And my sister's 82, so figure that one out. My mom, she says she's not that old, you know. I can't tell you my mom's birthday, but my sister was born like when my mom.
Which sister?
I can't tell you that
My
either.
favorite? Is it my favorite?
It's her. She went to. I think she already left for a cruise. She left for her birthday.
She's my favorite, and Christine's my favorite
Well, I have
too.
to quit saying the judge's mom.
The judge's mom.
Yeah,
that sounds
mom.
scary.
The judge. Yeah, Judge D. Agustin, Judge Dukhuladi Agustin. I don't know why we changed our name. So.
Yes. How was your day?
Today I had
Day
a
and a half.
crazy day. I was thinking of Bilal a lot because
I know.
to impress young people. So I have you, I have Junior Jawad in Toronto, and I have Bilal, and nobody's over 26. That's the new future.
Next month I'll be over 26.
We need all the girls to run for things and join And Noir can do that too. He said he is. Look at that, it's blown up. So, what did you do all day? We came in late.
I had a lot of
So my mom asked me last night,
Yeah.
what does he do for a living? I need to know. I told her you sold cars or something. didn't you?
entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. What does that
Entrepreneur.
mean? Surah.
Bilal, do you know what entrepreneur is
In
in
Arabic.
or
شنو?
no?
What?
I don't know.
Not yet. Not yet.
That's what they say in the streets.
That means you get up when you want, sleep when you want. That means it's called unemployed.
Hustler.
I like that. No, they ain't hustling. Entrepreneur is like, you just do what you want to do, right? You start something today.
I do a lot. I enjoy doing a lot. I can't focus.
I
on
told her
doing one thing.
telephones
and
and TVs because her
TVs
TV is out. Michael's supposed to fix it.
and with my family now their grocery business and all that kind of stuff and import export and all that.
It's politic.
It's everything.
You're entrepreneur in politic.
I like politics.
You were-
Politics and business and
You raised enough money.
yeah.
So what do you think happened with COVID? Go ahead, bring Bilal in. Let's get going because we're going to get messed up here. It's already 5:42. Bilal likes my billboard. Zia Oram, when he liked you, my brother saw your commercial. Yeah. He says, Zia Oram, you need to put Bilal on this board here. So get closer to the mic. Put your headphones on. And we're going to get going. We're going to introduce you and just be part of the team. We don't go like I asked you a question. We talk all together, one at a time.
It's not a
but
town hall.
It's a family. It's like, the saying, there we go. Ooh, I like your back. Hey, look at that. Where's,
Oh wow! I didn't have something like that.
Michael is creative. Oh, I forgot. Michael's the oldest young one here.
Yeah.
He doesn't look it. He did have his logo.
Oh yeah, I had it on the side.
Paul, you had it on the sign. Not like Bilal, huh? Bilal Hamoud. Look at that.
Looks like a straight up podcast.
So, Bilal Hamoud, welcome to John Zia Oram Show.
Thank you for having me.
Known your family for a long time, especially Amo Ramzi. Yeah, for like, I don't know. I think I just know him for like 35, 40 years or 20 years. But when I talk to him, I think I know him like 20 days because he's still speaking the broken English that he talks to me about for like an hour a day. So I met you. I have known your dad, but I had not, as much as your uncles. But I have met you a few months back, and you told me you were thinking about running for office, and I was very impressed with your resume and what you were saying and how you were doing it, because we were right in the midst of his thing in the East Side, in Sterling Heights, and when he won the primary, we thought, hey, you got a good chance. First Chaldean in history in Sterling Heights ever won a primary. A lot of them ran, So it was nice. Then I told you, come on over and let's talk about it because we love to support you one way or another. As you know, Chaldeans, we are known to write checks. There's a couple
And
things
I had a
we
lot
don't-
of that.
But also we have a great friend, Middle Eastern community from all sides in your area of Dearborn Heights usually actually is our second home, basically. That's where we normally go eat and shop and
That's the beauty.
da
of
da
it,
da.
right? It's
The
the
beauty, I
second
love
home
it.
to so
Love
many.
what they done. The community and the city officials. I started there in '71. And I still have property in there in '71. My whole family do since '71, and I love it. I'm supposed to go there last night to have dinner, with Khalifa. And I told Jimmy, Sam, I am not driving in this fog. And I should have went because we went to Shenandoah and it was okay. It wasn't. So tell us how you started. Who are you? So we can educate you. Now we speak in English and my rating goes way up because when I speak Chaldean, my friends that I know, thousands of them or hundreds of them, they text me, they goes, nice talk, but they have no clue what I'm saying. But I'm going to speak English to you, and you can speak any language back as you want. Give us explanation. Who's Bilal Hamoud, and why would people support you, and what is your vision?
Yeah. Well, first I want
It's
to
all
thank
yours.
you for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here in good company and political company, and someone who's been involved and really has known the community for so long. Yeah, as you mentioned, my name is Bilal Hamoud. I am a lifelong resident of Dearborn Heights. I was born there. I was raised there. My family's grew up there. Went to school in Dearborn Public Schools, River Oaks, Bryant, Dearborn High, and really it's been an environment that has grown me as a public servant throughout my entire life. When I say that, I mean that as a young kid, I was given these opportunities that most folks didn't always have. Right? I was a Boy Scout.
Like what, Bilal? Explain it. I know you said that in your resume, but like what? What did you see in life early on? And I'm gonna let you talk on your own.
Yeah.
That got you to the age of 25, and honestly, you're thinking like a 50-year-old, and I love that part.
Well, here's the thing. You might know this, knowing my family, but my father, my mother, they came here a year before I was born. So that idea of like institutional knowledge and wealth and having those resources and connections, they didn't really exist for them. So they came into this community blind, and they had to build up that network. And for me, and I have 3 younger sisters, for all of us, whenever the decision came to the table of should they advance themselves in their careers or should they sacrifice for their kids, they never chose the former. They always sacrificed. They always chose to give themselves up so that their kids had some opportunity.
School and
Everything.
education.
School, our living situation, being able to just have a car to be able to drive from school to classes to whatever we needed to do. So when I talk about the resources that existed, one of the clear examples I always point to is the library. The Caroline Kennedy Library was the library in Dearborn Heights that I grew up in. So they had this really amazing program when I was a kid where if you came from like a lower socioeconomic status, they'd give you free museum passes. So you could go to the museum and enjoy the experience there without having to pay that entry cost. And to me, the moment my mom found out about that, I started going to museums. I went to the first museum in my life, which was the Henry Ford Museum. I went to the Arab American Museum, Greenfield Village. All of these spaces became possible. And that's something that has stuck with me my entire life. Now I love museums. Anytime I go traveling, it's the first thing I do.
You go to museums.
It's amazing. You get to explore the culture, the education.
Did you hear that, Michael?
But none of that would have been possible if it wasn't just a basic social service that existed in our town. And it's that fundamental accessibility that I think needs to exist throughout a lot of our city services, a lot of our state services. And so when we talk about where I went from my high school education, I went to Wayne State University. I studied public health and neuropsychology, and I had been dead set on becoming an academic, right? Well, I should take that back. First year, freshman year, first semester, just like everybody else from our community going into university, I was going to be a doctor, right? Mom, dad, ready for me to be a doctor. But then I quickly realized that wasn't the path. I wanted to go more into neuroscience, academia, doing research, doing a PhD, teaching. And I was dead set on that. I had done Parkinson's research. I fell in love with it. But then I realized that public health had this opportunity, this gateway for, how do I put this? Public policy, really changing the dynamic of how you interact with people and the resources you bring to them.
But it was in you, right? You had it in your blood, looks
Yeah,
like.
that's
You're
exactly
naturally good at it.
Thankfully, because of my parents, right? They provided the framework for me to be able to succeed. That sacrifice, that commitment to community, public service, that...
Give back.
Exactly.
Give back.
And I want to bring that to our community, right? To Dearborn Heights.
So, running for office as Middle Eastern, we always look at money, right? How much we're going to make to work. And, like you said.
Or what are you going to do for me?
What are you going to do for me type of thing. But it's not really, because we never really had opportunities to run in Middle East. Most 90, 70, 99% of those countries are run by dictators, and they never give us a chance, unless you're part of this Ashira or this tribe or something. Lebanon, you had a little easier than we did in Iraq. But we as Christians, and most of the, at the time when Saddam was there, was Sunni, most of the Shias weren't allowed to run. Now the Sunnis are having a hard time. So it doesn't matter what religion you are, it's all the same old thing, like Amor Ramzi said today. But when you come to America and you guys are our future, you're going into this, you're visioning this. That's what the Polish did, Italians did, Jewish did back in the 40s and the 50s, and that's why they in this power that, they help run. I started mix up I was 21 in 74 working my first Mario campaign in Detroit for Coleman Young. And I didn't know what I was doing. I would carry signs in Dearborn. They told me I was in the wrong city. I would put, signs in businesses in Dearborn, and they said, no, he's in city. I thought you run for the whole thing, But your resume is impeccable. So you started working with government, for the government, at what age?
I believe I was 20,
20.
I had gotten my first position working with the city of Sheboygan, which, if you don't know Sheboygan, it's this small town of like 10,000 folks up in northern Michigan.
Were you up there in school?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
I was doing school
Almost
at
by
the same
Mackinac
time.
Island.
It's about 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Lebanese,
I definitely
son of an immigrant, and you up Sheboygan. We, as Middle Eastern, we scared to drive down that highway up there with the Highway 131 or whatever it's called. And
it's a lot safer than Warren. I'll tell you that.
yeah. And so you started working doing what there?
So it's a long story of how I got there, but I was able to find my position there as the project manager of the city. So I was able to do...
You were working for the city government.
The city government. So I got to work on this level, and it's, 10,000 people. So it's this intimate work with the mayor, the police chief, the fire chief. Everybody's in the same room. You know how effective government can be when everyone's in that same conversation, that same dialogue? You're able to do a lot more productively when you're not stuck in these old government silos. And we got to do so much.
Close to the mic. This one.
We brought hundreds of thousands of dollars back into the city, revitalized the downtown, invested.
It's beautiful, though.
Oh, yeah.
I love that town.
They have this beautiful opera house. We were able to, modernize it.
Remodeled it.
We had the Sheboygan Carnegie Library. It speaks to my love of libraries. It's these libraries that exist from Dale Carnegie from across the country. And this one was slanted, right? Old, slanted, not invested in, not upkept in years. And we got enough funding to lift it back up, literally do a facelift. And it became a community center. They had swing dancing, they had photography classes, clubs, and it really speaks to the greater issue of the opioid epidemic, right? The kids up there don't really have necessarily an
How long were you
opportunity.
there? About a year or two? Or something?
Up in Sheboygan? About a year, yeah.
Good lesson, huh? Good.
Lot-
Did you feel
learned a
any
lot.
prejudice like we do down here up there? Did they notice there's a difference between what nationality are you? Or here's everything is mixed. You know that. It's a war zone here. Did you feel any of that, or?
I may have gone in with some biases myself, but they celebrated my diversity. They celebrated me being an Arab American.
Sheboygan, Michigan,
and
guys.
it helped that I brought baklava with me up there,
I do that at Soaring
Food is
Eagle
the great
Casino.
Bridge,
Oh, beautiful.
Thankfully, it was an amazing
beautiful.
experience.
You got a question?
Yeah. So after you left Sheboygan, what did you do?
I started working in nonprofits at that point. I started work with Forgotten Harvest. So we did a lot of
I've heard
food
of that.
insecurity, food distributions,
Yes.
making sure people got just the basic needs to survive. And then I moved over to, do you know Communities First, Inc.? They're a housing insecurity nonprofit that helps people in Flint and Detroit revitalize old buildings into low-income housing. Provide people just, again, the basic need to survive. Because if you're not given that, how can we expect you to, reach that level of success and that American dream that all of us strive for? The ones my parents strived for. So it was a lot of nonprofit work, advocacy work, some environmental groups, some education groups. But then I was offered this opportunity with the Michigan Department of State, the Secretary of State in the executive office, working alongside Jocelyn Benson. I was going to be in the public engagement department, and get this, I was going to be the first Arab American ever to be in the executive office of the Secretary of State. And I took it. I took that position, and I never thought I'd be working in government and state government at that matter, but I loved it.
And you have to live in Lansing.
It's a drive.
It's a drive.
You drive
No, you don't have to.
hour and a half back.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, 3 hours of your day.
So
and
you
it
were
takes a
there.
toll.
Technically, you were the first because of diversity. You were the first Arab American, but you weren't hired because you were Arab American, because
No.
you were smart and you were qualified.
I'm very much in favor and an advocate for representation, but qualified representation. Right? We are responsible as a community to build up the talent so that there is qualified candidates to run for office, to fill these roles, to weave into society, because we have to.
What did you think when you ran, Paul?
So, I mean, when
I mean, one day I found out Paul Manny's running for Sterling Heights City Council. At least this is your first time running for office,
That's
right,
correct.
Bilal? So you're 26. We know when your birthday is, so don't talk about it. It'll take an hour. And he's 25, and Michael is 31, 32, 33. Oh, man, Michael keeps my baby. What do you think what was your vision, and what Bilal is explaining, that when you decided, okay, Sterling Heights, what, the third largest city or state?
fourth, yeah.
Third or fourth largest in population now. And what did you just decided to run for politics? Or, I mean, you were like offshoot of something that we found out, like, what is he doing? Then you were hit it, you hit it fast, you know?
I mean, I started late. I started the full campaign in mid-June. I mean, beginning to mid-June.
Oh my God!
While the primary was in August. So I mean, I had to put full gears.
You
going
said mid to late June. For those of you that don't know, you can start absentee voting, so vote from home and go into the clerk's office 40 days before the election. So that's like usually June 20th. You started when people could start voting.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And I had to order all these signs. I was going to trying to find, companies that can make signs that fast. Everyone was telling me 2 weeks. I was like, no, I need them in like 2 days. I need like 100 signs.
You didn't understand the system, yeah.
So I was going full
I didn't realize you
gears into
started that
marketing.
late. I think, but you put me to work much earlier than that, didn't you? Backing you or something, or
It was, the second time I run, I learned so much from
you made a
first-
primary in general.
Yes.
So what happened is, I guess
as being
you went
prepared.
in August, and you did pretty
So
good.
the reason why I chose city council, because I lived in the city since 2003, so I know the city and the whole demographics of the city and the roads and all that kind of stuff. So I said to myself, since it's a nonpartisan race, it's a better opportunity for me to run in Sterling Heights than running for a state position at first, for my first time running.
Right.
So, and then I gained so much knowledge from this campaign to the point where I can move on to different fields.
So, Bilal, it's the first time you're running. So, but you worked in the government affairs area. You understood it. But a huge difference in money. In government and jobs,
Public
you make a lot
salaries.
of public salaries are like they pay most of the reps in Lansing that for a long time I ran
And
most
it's
of their
full-time.
campaigns. It's just driving and back and forth and all that.
100-hour work weeks
And 100, yeah,
minimal
and
pay.
constantly. And what is your vision going to run for state rep? Tell us what you.
Well, I'm coming out of public office. I'm coming from the public sector, right? Working in state government.
Yes.
So it's not like I'm unfamiliar with the public salary and the salaries that come with government work. But it's never been about that, right? It's been about the service and resources you can really bring back home. For those of you not familiar, there's like $20 billion currently in a surplus in Michigan's budget, which means that's going to be sourced down to the cities, from the counties to the cities.
Counties and the cities
We
and
can take
townships,
advantage of
yeah.
that, especially with the infrastructure issues that are facing Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, the flooding.
Where are
hits
you
us
at
every year.
represented?
What's up?
Where you represent your area.
Exactly.
We're
So
going to
that
be
could
represented.
valuable, a huge asset into repairing the roads, the infrastructure issues we see, addressing the education gap that COVID has caused these last 2 years, and really just giving educators and the students what they deserve, because there's a lot of talent in our community, a lot of talent in our education system. Got to invest in it. But going into this, I imagine being a state representative is not only focused on those core issues of voting, right? You're going to vote and you're going to propose legislation, but really just being a leader, a connector, and a resource that your community can depend on. And that's what I want to be.
Someone with action, with less talk.
Well, you already, under your Secretary of State job, you already did a lot of speaking engagement,
Good
right?
resume.
You went around and spoke to communities and
across
people.
the state, we worked really
across the
intimately.
state.
Northern, Western, Eastern.
It's a good resume to have.
Oh, but,
See, with me, I had no political experience, so it was hard for me to actually convince voters to vote for me. You know, the only thing I
Well,
had
you were in a
was
family business most of your life,
no-
so
and involvement with the church and organizations like that. But it was hard.
You got to pay your dues, right?
Exactly.
but it's a beautiful thing. You start young. You learn your lesson.
We've seen a huge rise in not only the engagement and voting, but the willingness to run for office from the younger
More and
community.
more, you think?
We love it, right? That's a good sign. It means we're now being more informed, more educated voters, and also just wanting to engage and invest in our own community. We don't see that we didn't see that very often, and I think these last 5-10 years we've seen that grow.
We've seen it in the last
exponentially.
5 years, I was going to say, with Coleman Young Jr. and others. But this is the youngest crowd I dealt with, and I've been dealing with it over 40 some years, literally daily, because that's all I do behind the scene, a certain thing.
But we don't want to discount experience, right? Experience is incredibly valuable when trying to run and represent a community. But experience isn't just defined by the accumulation of years, right? Experience means so much more. It's lived experience.
How you were raised, how you went to school, how you did things. That don't mean because these people are 60 years old, they're smart. Look, we have a broken system between both sides, and people are fed up. But we are ethnic, and ethnic people like us, we lived under a wrong political system.
Yeah.
This is a proud moment. I wasn't even in Canada, and I don't want to talk about it. But man, I was glad to come across this border back up here because the high prices, the trucker strike, the you couldn't go into a store, you couldn't go into you couldn't even get into a restaurant. 3 of us, 4 of us, let's say after the show we want to go to a restaurant, couldn't go in. 5 people limit. The restaurant holds 200.
Too much restrictions and mandates and
I feel for the people of Canada, how it is and
Yeah.
what is going on. So this good old United States of this America, as Barack Obama say, it's amazing opportunity gives you to do it. Don't under discount the young people, because that's what we need. The same old when he ran, or I don't know, your area is redistrict, so you don't have an incumbent there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're opening in.
He was running in council. Average person was there. What'd you tell me?
From 10 to 30 years.
Wow.
So
And I raised the most money and still couldn't beat him.
Well, it wasn't the money or the time, the way they were set, and the way
They
you were
running in
going.
a slate, that's why.
They were running a slate. They were like gangs, We're going to be right back with Bilal Hamoud. Don't forget that face, because he could be a governor one day. I'm going to talk ahead of myself because usually I teach others not to do it, but I think he will. We'll be back.
There's a sense of anticipation, electricity in the air. You think tonight is your night, and you're in luck, because here, a great time is a sure thing. This place is certified hot. This is Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Go on a hot streak unlike any other, with hundreds of the hottest slots, certified by their manufacturers to be set to the best paybacks guaranteed. Plus the hottest table games and sizzling live entertainment and nightlife. So why play at just any casino when you can play at the only casino and resort that's certified hot? This is your night, and it's time to experience more at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Hello, my name is Bilal Hamoud. As a lifelong resident of Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, I'm excited to announce my candidacy to be your next state representative. I'm the proud son of Samir and Hanadi, hardworking immigrants who sought a better life. My father began his life here by fixing cars and went on to become a successful business owner, laboring day and night to provide for me and my siblings. Like so many families, my mother works 2 jobs so that her children have the resources to rise above any challenge. Through their example, I carry the values of service, hard work, and commitment to family and community. But it was you, the Dearborn Heights community, that raised me, the Dearborn community that educated me, and this Metro Detroit community that inspired me and makes me proud to call this my home. It was you who filled the libraries I grew up in, built the parks I played in, and helped me translate my passions into a lifelong commitment to public service. I'm running because hardworking families deserve leadership that will address critical gaps in our infrastructure, redefine public health, and bolster our economic recovery. As an advocate, I fought alongside key organizations to support Michigan educators, to protect our environment, and to provide for underserved families, addressing issues at the most basic level of human need, such as hunger and housing. Through my work at the Executive Office of the Secretary of State, I've partnered with cities across Michigan to tear down barriers to accessing government resources and protect our voting rights. Now, I want to focus those efforts back to the place I've called home my whole life. My name is Bilal Hamoud, and I'm running to be your next state representative. I hope to earn your vote on August 2nd.
Southfield Funeral Home, Jerry and Ferial Yonu, 12 Mile in Southfield for 37 years, 17 Mile in Rhine, second location. They do funerals, كل أمريكا, Michigan, كل ستيتات, California, Arizona, على لاوث, Emmett Kibbe, خابر Jerry and Ferial Yonu. West Side, 248-569-8080. East Side, 586-275-0429. 37 years in business. Price, quality, service, excellent. أي شغل ثلاثي شنة funeral home business. That's all they do. هراي لشولي. They're part of our community and we are part of them. 37 years. Jerry and Ferial Yono.
شوشلا Everybody شوشلا Everybody شوشلا
You back? Michael's back.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Akhawatha Khathwatha, Yuchamochu till 7 o'clock. We have Bilal Hamoud running for state rep. That means Lansing.
Yes.
We have Paul Mendy that ran for Sterling Heights. Doesn't sound like an election month or something. This is only February.
I wish my election was this year because more people would have voted.
You think so? I thought you did pretty good. You won the primary, right? So Bilal, explain to us about 15th district and let me ask you some question.
Yeah.
You know a lot about redistricting.
Yeah.
There's two issues I knew about Chaldeans that I do a lot of stuff with in Middle Eastern. First thing, till Trump come, they didn't know how to vote, and they weren't talking national politics. They never did on my show. 8 years here, right? We never talk about national. And second thing, they're talking about redistricting now. So it's like somebody's,
So I'm going to break it down because redistricting.
I'm going to let you have the mic.
Thank you, sir. It's like this. Let's say we're doing civics, a class on civics, right? There's 101.
Don't get too complicated with it. Just explain it.
There's 101, there's 102, and then there's like 402, right? Redistricting is like 402. So a lot of people don't even know 101. So we got to like jump into that to get to 402. But the basic way to run it down is redistricting happens every 10 years, every time the census is taken, and it just redraws the district by which your community is represented. So let's say the map looks like this. Next year, or after 10 years, it could look like this. It could look like that.
Based on population.
Based on population. The issue is, traditionally, Michigan has been heavily gerrymandered, which means...
What does that mean?
It means the maps and the lines are drawn so that they favor one political party. In Michigan's case, it was heavily favoring the Republican Party. So we would see this awkwardly shaped map, like the 13th district for the congressional map. It would stretch all the way.
Grosse Pointe to Pontiac.
Yeah.
I remember.
You look at District 12, the congressional map, from Dearborn to Ann Arbor. Now that it like stretches and.
That was Dingle, right?
That was Debbie Dingle's seat.
Okay.
So when we talk about why this was a necessary thing, not only was the redistricting something that happens every 10 years, but the anti-gerrymandering redistricting, where it's an independent commission of like 13 people who draw the map. This is the first time it's been done in Michigan history, second time in U.S. history.
Say that again.
Second time in U.S. history that the redistricting process has happened by the hands of an independently based commission.
Oh, it used to be by politicians, right?
The legislators.
Whoever was majority, kind of. Okay.
And that's why it was possible for that to be gerrymandered in such bias.
Yes.
Okay, so every time the state house or the Senate in each state is that just Michigan or every state like this?
So every state works a little bit differently.
They have to be, right?
Majority of them do it in a way where the legislators draw their own lines. So that's why you see some states that are heavily gerrymandered. And it's not just for one political party. We see it for both sides.
And this was passed by the people?
By the people, for the people. This was one of the most widely approved Michigan constitutional amendments we've ever seen. I think it had it was paired alongside the new voting rights that we saw back in 2018. Yeah. It had about 56% approval rating, with the new voting rights having a 67%, an overwhelming supermajority. Residents wanted to have their rights more accessible than ever. That's why you can vote 40 days before an election. You can register the same day and vote. You can vote absentee from home without having to have a reason. It makes the process a lot more accessible so that folks like us, non-traditional communities, especially, can have more of an opportunity
to engage. He's absolutely right. I tried teaching that to our Chaldean people, and every door.
Well, you were dealing with all elder.
And they've never voted absentee. They've never voted before. People, they used to tell me, I voted 3 times my whole life, 2 for you, 1 for Trump.
That's the thing with our community. When a non-traditional candidate wants to run, we have to do our own legwork just to get people engaged, expanding that electorate, right? Getting more people registered, and you have to do education before you can tell them wide
Exactly.
of vote. But that's the beauty
What
of
to see and what you're actually doing.
yeah, exactly. You have to go to that 101 before you can get to that.
And I was
402.
teaching people about the 101.
So your last name is Hamoud. Abdullah Hamoud just made Wara News that he's in Dearborn and ran a young man. He was a state rep.
And he's now the
But
first
no
mayor.
relation to this Hamoud.
No,
so Hamouds are like the Smith or something?
Basically,
or
yeah.
is
We
it-
have a wonderful, amazing Solicitor General, Fatwa Hamoud. We have a councilman in Dearborn now, Mustafa Hamoud, and we have a great mayor, Abdullah Hamoud. No relations
It's
between
like
all of us.
Smiths.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Smith. But you mentioned Abdullah Hamoud. Really paved the way, right? Him, folks like Abdul Saeed, even Rashida Tlaib, paved this way for Arab Americans to run for office.
That's
for us
amazing.
to feel confident to be able to
It's great for a
see a
community.
model that
Well, the
works.
first
that's been proven.
Lebanese came here in 1905 or something. So, I mean, it takes a long time. Or first Chaldean in 1895 or something.
I wonder when the first Arab American won the first seat in Michigan.
I can tell you one of the first Arab Americans that ran in Dearborn was Abed Hamoud. He ran for mayor back in 2001.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Yeah, so his primary, he passed the primary against
I was
Guido.
there. Guido.
And then 9/11
Guido
happened.
called him all kind of names, and he won on a hatred one.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that. You won a primary in August, and then in September, 9/11 occurred. In November,
And
our
it
community.
was a lot of bickering. and
Remember
back
we
and
went
forth.
to Joe Ramlouche in Boca Raton?
Yes, I
The
remember.
Ramlouche family.
Yes.
They were huge business people, still are, with Yahya and everybody. And he was the one fought Guido at the time in 201. I was still having running a business
And
there.
before that, he said he was involved in the 80s and 90s. And
Well, me and him started in 74, 75 with Joe Baidoon. But when Guido came in, he got nasty with these brochures and posters. And
hits.
and like you say, it was the 9/11 scenario. But it's not how, because if you're Arab or Middle Eastern, we are just taught to be business people, men or women. But our young ladies are coming up through the system, like you say, with offices, working in different systems. I preach that here. The politic and community relation got me this started about 8 years ago because no one was doing it. So I built a studio. I did this and that, and I didn't need to. As you know, I don't need to do much at all, nothing. But I saw so much traveling with 3 presidents and almost in every event. And I never went as a Middle Eastern or Chaldean or anything, but I was one of the lead guys. I was like, I had a lot of power, and I would watch all these local counties in New York and California and Midwest, and I used to say, how come we can't do that back home? Then I come home and it'll be the same mayor for 20 years and same council for this
the
and
same talk.
But they had their own little spaghetti dinners time, and
That's
and
the danger of government. When it becomes complicit, it stops serving the people and just starts serving itself.
Exactly, and that's why this term. So tell us how this thing works with the state rep.
Yeah. So state representative is a seat that now with the redistricting represents about 90,000 individuals. In our case, it's all of West Dearborn and Dearborn Heights. So that's about 91,000 folks. And those individuals are going to be the folks that we represent up in Lansing, one of 110 legislators in the state house. Those are 2-year terms that you have a maximum of 3.
3.
So you can maximum serve as a state representative, 3 2-year terms.
For
so
state
6
rep.
years. Yep.
For Senate, it's 4 years.
So for the state Senate, it's a 4-year term, and there's 2 terms that you can serve, so up to 8 years.
How
in
many
state Senate.
people will you be representing?
In state Senate?
Yes.
About 200 and don't quote
No,
me,
in
that's
the
not-
state rep.
The state
State
rep
rep.
position.
State rep, 90,000.
90,000.
And
Yeah.
state Senate's about 250,000.
I didn't
believe.
know that. So when you run for Senate, it expands wider.
Oh, very much so, yeah. Because there's only 36 or so senators in the state of Michigan.
That's a lot of people.
So then you quickly, increase.
So I have
the
a great friend, county executive in Arignac County, north of Standish, as we were a hero, and he's listening to us. And he says it's really nice to get your people involved and be positive about it in a political arena to get your voices out to the community that you live in. And the people need to hear that.
Yeah.
Harold's a county executive in that county, north of Bay County.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
be proud of your identity, right? Proud Arab American. When I served with the Michigan Department of State, like I said, first Arab American, didn't mean that we only served the Arab American population, by no means. but it meant that we had to take a different approach. We had to serve all communities and make sure that we recognize where the gaps are.
Sheboygan. I'm still left by it, but
Sheboygan's a great town. You
I
should go
love.
visit sometime.
I'm always there. I took my RV there 5 times this summer.
Go on down to Mullen
Harrow's
Lake,
by
Kangaroo.
Sheboygan. He was just up that way now. But the reason we say in English, so people like Harrow and other county guys are listening. I know you're watching, Harrow. Harrow says he's watching. Okay. Say hi, Harrow. Harrow's a county executive and zoning board in Standish Township. And Arniak is a pretty good community of county-wise. And he asked me, I want to run for office. That was a couple of years ago. And I said, run for something. He did. And the 3 members voted him as the chair. He's the chair of the, but I had him down here and, and we talked a lot. And I like to see more positive think instead of us in the Middle Eastern.
Negative.
Personally, I was sick and tired of it, still sick and tired. And I don't even look like anything close to Middle Eastern, but is that, and I say it in English because I have a lot of great friends everywhere, is that we keep getting all this negative news from Middle East like we all, but it's not like that, and people know that, and America knows that. We are very highly educated people. Well, no, you hear negative from the media, but the media don't run the show. I mean, media does whatever they want. Then you get a young man like you, like Michael, like Bilal, and a lot of other. My niece ran for a judge. She's married to an Italian, D'Agostini, and first Italian ever won on the West Side in Oakland County.
Wow.
Not anywhere. No, in anything. So she came to me. Dad got killed in front of me when I was young. That's 1970. And she said one day to me, Uncle John, I want to be a lawyer, a prosecutor, and a judge. So when she got to be a prosecutor, I had put her in Ferndale by my office in my electronic company. And she was there so we can have lunch all the time. And she fought hard. But first time she ran, she went under incumbent, old-timers. They go, you're not getting into this court system.
She was probably one of the only young ones at the time.
No, had nothing to do with only political one. Yeah. We had nobody. Matter of fact, right now, right, she's the only one left again. She's her 20th year.
Wow.
Yeah, her 20th year. And she just won, I think it's that odd years, and I think it's 2024 or 25th. But she ran and she got like 2,000 votes. Then she came to me to Canada and she goes, Uncle John, I want to win this. I want to run. Because she did it from her heart. And those people put all kind of, Brooks Patterson, God bless him, that's your boy. He's like he's dead and going to heaven. He did a robocall. Mm-hmm. And this is a woman that her mom came here. She was 14 years old and her dad literally was born here. And at age 20-some, she's 50, and I don't want to say it. She's probably 26, came out of Wayne State Law School. And he did a robocall in her district and called her Saddam's niece, terrorist. I have this recording still. And she took her personal and emotional, and here's a young kid with her brother and sister. Their dad got killed when they were like 3-4 years old.
That's very
and
racial.
He went on and he played it to every robocall house. And then we worked hard. And you know what? 6, 12, this will be her 24th year coming in. But every election, you know what I do, right? She's on this show every day. Because there's 2 issues we do, right? We get them to listen and vote, and we get them to raise money or tell a friend of a friend. Because I told you latter part in general, you've seen it all. You work for Secretary of State. You ran things. Very few votes can make a big impact.
You just said it, 2,000 votes, right?
I was down by 1,800.
When we talk about even local races, some races are decided by just a couple dozen votes.
And I did too many of these robo-calls and robo-texts and everything.
Nothing beats. There's 2 things that win elections. We always talk about it. It's dollars, yes,
and
fundraising.
Door knocking. That's it.
Not the robocalls, not the texting. It's face-to-face interactions with the residents. That's why I've already purchased 3 pairs of tennis shoes ready to hit every door.
At first, I was campaigning.
Bilal, you could play for Detroit Tigers. Come on, man.
At first, I was campaigning like this with my dress shoes, and then I got sick of it. And then how about I tell you? And then I got sick of walking because I take more time walking than knocking and talking. So what I did was I bought one of those electric scooters.
Oh yeah, I'm a vote for a guy with an electric scooter
Those
outside my door.
those bird scooters.
You did?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
I had those
As
bird
a-
scooters. It saved me so much time.
That's effective.
So, Bilal, what advice would you give? As you know, we're going to talk about your district, but the young people, I know you two are this is a very great team here. What advice would you give the young people to get motivated? Because, you know, they sit in home with their parents. They're going to talk about it tonight, not only on our show. They're going to see a lot of you in the media and other commercials and doing things. Why? Where were you? Where are you at? Where are you going with this? And what would you give them? Because there's a lot of beautiful people sitting at home, educated, went to school, sitting in a Starbucks on these computers before the corona.
They want to do
in
something,
Panera.
but they're not motivated. They don't have the
Well,
motivation.
they need to hear one thing. The main thing that gets me going all the time, and Michael knows, and you know how I get involved. When I see some man, are in a couple buildings together because we're chatting about it, you know? So you get motivated at almost 70 years old, and I did that when I was young. What do you think of those three things? Where were you? You're 25 years old. I can say your age. You're not married yet, right? So we'll get you a wife. So I'm getting Paul one, so now you're another person, and Michael's getting one. Like we're going to go like this, right? So where were you? Where are you at, and where are you going?
I told you where I was. I told you what I did. I tell you why I'm doing it. But to give you an idea, I came from nothing. With my family, we came here looking for an opportunity. They had me. I had an opportunity being born here. There is an opportunity to take on real leadership roles, to get involved in the system, to weave ourselves the fabric of this society, not just in the pockets of Dearborn or the pockets of these communities where the food's delicious. We're more than that. We have so much opportunity. You're working hard because you want to find that success for yourself. The community's working hard so that you'll want to invest back in it. So take that chance.
Exactly.
Take that risk, take that leap, because I promise you'll find success. And there's nothing more filling than seeing that instant change in someone's life when you're able to help them. That connection with whatever it might be that they need to survive, whether it's anything from anything basic like food, all the way to helping your entire community's careers, explode. There is opportunity there, and don't be afraid of it. And
Exactly.
don't discount yourself. I promise. The number one barrier that I faced going into this and deciding to run, first thing I had to do was clear it with my family. But the number one barrier that I faced was my own self. Thinking that I'm 25, am I going to be able to do this? But you look around you and you realize that you've done so much for this community. You've given your time, you've paid your dues. You want to be able to do more for it. And that passion, that drive is going to be more valuable than anything else. So believe in that opportunity, believe in yourself, and don't discount the work that you've done to get to this point. I promise you, there is opportunity out there for you. You just have to be willing to.
And
I can relate to that a lot of times.
as the elder in this room, also you're in the greatest nation on earth.
This is the place.
If you cannot serve here and raise your family here and do what your mom and dad did, coming here, working from nothing for so many years.
Blessing.
You guys are very lucky. All three of you were born here. I faced what I could face out till I was 13 back home. My question is, you would have been thinking same way if you were born there and came here about 10 and 12, you think? Or is that teaching?
If anything, well, the education system here definitely gives you those values and belief that you can accomplish anything here. And it is, right? There's that potential. Potential is the word here. You look at overseas, even in Lebanon, like you said, it's better off in condition compared to these other infrastructures that may exist. My mom and dad, I have to force them to vote in every election. I work with the Department of State, and I still have to drag them out because they're so disenfranchised at the system back home. Yep. They don't feel like the system's going to work for them. They don't trust the government back home. Why would it be any different here? But they've been engaging in that system. They've seen the difference their vote makes. Heck, one of our council people who's doing great work now, won by 36 votes.
36 votes.
That's like 3 households in our community.
Yeah, there you go. Sitting in the garage smoking
Nargila.
nargila. So that's interesting you said that because, Paul, you had estimate under Secretary of State where the loud was 9,000 more registered Chaldeans that didn't vote. 9,000, but you lost by 2,000?
Yes.
That shows there's a huge increase in Michigan's voting population. We love it, right? It's more accessible than ever.
About 40,000 Chaldeans, Sterling Heights.
Wow.
10 to 12,000 are registered voters. And in 2016, only 1,000 of them voted for the presidential
But
election.
10 years ago, 800 were registered voters.
This last election, we saw record-breaking turnouts
In
for Arab
2020,
Americans as well.
8,000 Chaldeans voted. From 1,000 to 8,000.
That's amazing. The hardest part is not registering. That's part of it, is getting them registered, but actually voting.
Going.
There's a huge difference between the number of registered Arab Americans and the number of voting Arab Americans. And that's the danger. They think you vote once every 4 years, you've done your part. You vote every year, twice at the minimum.
What do you suggest? Take politics to the side of being with the Secretary of State of licensing and license plate and voting rights and registration and all that. That's the powerhouse and part of the state government, Attorney General, Governor, Secretary of State. I was a huge shamer, right? Go register. But you say something just caught my eye. You got to get them to vote. Yeah. What would you do different than if you were just working in the system and educating people as you want around the state? Because this is what hurt him. He won the primary. He got killed in general. They didn't go and vote.
You know how many people had been motivated to vote in the primary in August for mayor in Dearborn? And everyone's like, all right, we voted, we won, we got past the primary. Everyone was celebrating.
There's one more.
Premature celebration. You have to make a plan to vote. And it really is that fundamental education.
Well, Ardella had a tough election, right?
A very tough.
Some people get too comfortable. That's the problem.
But this is a good lesson for guys like you and whoever is listening to us, is that you remember you won, and we all say, oh, yeah, he won.
I pressured Chaldeans, if you're not going to vote in person, to vote absentee. And they don't know what an absentee ballot was until I described it to them. Yeah. 101.
Vote from home 40 days before an election.
Yes.
It's that simple. And, we have these drop boxes to help make it easier, so you can just drop it off as well. But
it's easy and it's effective, and
make a plan.
And it's free.
The best part. It's the first thing. So we used to actually go around with the Secretary of State, and we'd go to all the naturalization ceremonies of all the new citizens. First thing that we did after they swear in, what's the first thing we did? We registered and vote. It's the first fundamental right.
There you go, Paul.
As a citizen. Doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter what language you speak. You're a citizen. You get to vote.
Doesn't matter who's in the room.
You do
what nationality is in the room. It doesn't matter.
You knock 2 birds in 1 stone.
Well, no, if you don't educate them, because that fear they say of his parents, the fear of my parents, as a 12-year-old leaving to Baghdad in the train, we were scared that we were going to get, taken away. You didn't know what could happen. Those trains from Mosul to Baghdad, and I remember 9 of us and my mom. My dad was here, then he came to get us. We were scared because you never had your rights as you get into the adulthood, teenagehood, and you start thinking, what do you do? And like you say, our Lebanon is like our motherland before we came here. But other countries like Iraq, all their life were like that. Then you come here and you say, like you say, to change them, you gained from it and you got affected by it because they say he won. I said, no, you need to vote. He goes, no, he won.
Or Paul, you're already going to win. Don't worry.
Remember?
Yeah.
So this is a good thing to come back. We hope to have you back, and we want to work with you. We want to help. I like you as you and your family, but you're going to go somewhere with this. Why did you pick state rep?
This is the first time that Dearborn Heights as a city has its north and south side represented. So with redistricting, we went from having our south side split between 3 municipalities and our north side split amongst 5. Wow. So now there's an opportunity for cohesive representation. We have new municipal representation. It's an opportunity to really source those resources back home effectively through the county, through the state, through federal government, and through our city. So
how many cities are you running? Are you Inkster too?
No, we're just Dearborn and Dearborn Heights. The old seat used to have Inkster, Westland, Livonia, Garden City,
mix of too
and Dearborn
much.
Heights.
When you first told me that, we were sitting at the cafe, And you mentioned the two cities. I say, is he crazy? What are they talking about? It wind up like that?
It used to be, yeah. That's what gerrymander did. You were in 5 different cities, and you can't give that attention that you need to 5 different cities. It splits it up. It makes it.
Whoa.
Wow. It's tough.
So you in those 2 areas there, and when is the filing for opponents and things like that? April 13th still or something?
So yeah, April is the filing deadline. But August 2nd is that election date. That's the primary we're fighting for.
Paul,
that's
we're going to be working,
helping
Bilal, because he'll turn around and help you.
Change.
But he also knows the voting part. He knows what he spoke. That's what I like. He's been in every corner of the state promoting.
He knows the system.
Well, he knows the system because, what did you say? If you don't vote, it doesn't count. So don't even think about it and complain.
I used to
don't complain. If you didn't vote, don't complain about it.
And our people love to complain.
Well, it's not just really our people. Overall, a lot of anti-voters got into this mode. Well, hell with it. I'm not voting. But the first people they do is complain.
That's what they want. That's what the system wants, is you not to feel like your voice matters, because then you stop. And then it's easier and easier because there's a smaller group of people you have to convince.
So what do you plan now? What are you planning to do in campaigning? Are you knocking on doors, or we just got another person on Haitham Cholak who's on there.
Yes.
He ran for city council.
He was the first Chaldean to run for city council in 2017.
That's right. Was it 2017?
And if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have thought of ever running for city council.
Right, you got to pave that way.
And when Haitham ran, I thought he was too nice for politics. So I love you, Haitham, and I still do.
I was too nice for politics.
Haitham was on the show with me for about 4 years here until Corona broke. But he ran, and he put his heart and soul in it.
That's what you have to do.
And back then, no matter how many you had voting or registered, it wasn't as just exciting. Did he ran in 2017, you said? I know, I was there. So, like I said, till the 2016 came along, and the power of 2020, that really shook up the whole thing.
2020.
The more people woke up, no matter what, a lot of non-voters woke up. Instead of more people going to the voting booth, because the result shows that.
2020 was the first major election where all those new voting rights from 2018 actually took place.
So many people, learned about wanting to go vote in 2020 and 2019.
Well, you know that. We don't allow this
prior to 2018, you couldn't actually register to vote anytime 30 days into the election. So if the election date is August 2nd, if you're within that 30-day window and you're not registered, next election.
Next election, exactly.
That makes no sense.
So when you applied for Secretary of State, was it because you were thinking politics, or because of serving the people in a Secretary of State area was needed?
So it was an opportunity to serve in a different capacity, because prior to that, it was all nonprofit work.
Because it's a state job. It's a whole state, right? It's not a city job.
Got to take a lot of that grassroots work that we had done and apply that to state government. And that's what made it so special. I never thought I'd go into government, into politics, into any of this. But you keep an open mind. You take that left door into a left door, and when the community calls you to serve, you answer the call.
Man, you're a great person. I tell you, come from a great family, and no matter what you're going to do well. So is he and Haitham and everybody else. People have been asking me for how long? 40 years when I'm going to run. I run the politics. I don't need to run.
That was one of the questions I asked you. I was like, why didn't you ever run? I mean, everything that was going on.
How do I run for something? I got appointed twice on a draft conversation for an ambassadorship. I couldn't go anywhere. Even small islands, like Bermuda and all them was the talk. I raised $12 million in 2012 and $8 million in 2008 for the president.
We'll take some of that.
Yeah. Well, I raised it nationwide, and we're going to raise you money. And they said, when you raise money, you'll get ambassadorship. How do you do that? You say that in Iraq, you get shot. Like, why somebody going to appoint you ambassador to Iraq? It's all the families there, right? They run the show.
Talk.
It's all, well, there you couldn't be
Baloney.
appointed. So when Vice President Biden came to visit my dad, he goes, what are you going to do, Oram? I said, I got my 100-year-old dad, My 9, I can't tell you my mom's age.
I can't tell you mine either.
I know, but she's only 9. Mine is turned 97. She told me I can say that because she's going to get mad at me anyway. And I told him family comes first in the way that I can't do it, but I wish I do. I'm not going to lie. If I was you guys' age, I would have took an opportunity, not run for something. No, I like serving. I like, you know how I do. I go to homeless shelter and I go to this and that. I like to serve it, and I created this show for all people. Even in the Middle Eastern tribes, everybody gets their own little corner, Iraqi, Lebanese, or Jordanian, or this one, or Chaldean, or Christian, or Muslim. No, this show was created for all type of thing. And you know what happened to me? It looked like I ran for something and won because I reach every can again. Yeah. Even the lady that brought me this, and look how she spelled John Oram. I don't know how the hell she spelled that.
Looks like an H.
What is it? John Zia, but I'm going to try to help her. She's listening. So thank you, Bilal. Is anything else you want to finish? I'll be quiet for a minute.
You said the primaries in August and generals in November?
That's correct.
When is the first party so we can be there?
We're hopefully going to have our kickoff event within the next month or two. We'll make sure
I got to wait a month or two?
We have a special election going on in Dearborn, and
you
that's on
do?
March 1st. So we want to make sure that, and that's what I wanted to plug here, there's a special election happening in Dearborn for the remainder of Abdullah Hammoud's So it's about a 6-7 month stint. Right now, there are 2 candidates running for that, Alabas Farhat and Jeffrey Pepper. So once that, a lot of the energy around that dies down, then we'll pick back up with our.
We have similar in Macomb County, Shelby Township area as well.
Yeah, there've been a lot of special elections going around.
And when is this election? In
March 1st.
Theirs is March 1st, so 6 days.
And that's a primary in March 1st.
That's a primary, yeah.
And that general is when?
May. It's the first Tuesday in May, but this is decided by most likely.
And it ends when?
The actual election or the term?
The term.
The term ends at the end of the year. So it's just for this 6-7 months.
It's like when Brenda Jones ran for the Congress seat
finish
and
the term,
finish the term type of thing. So we could have, Dan is going to have other people run, right, next year in the same seat with Abdul, or they broke that up.
So now that's broken up into our district, a center of Dearborn.
So that goes away?
Dearborn district. Exactly. So that December 31st, that seat dissolves. January 1st, all the new seats take over for the elected who won in the
So how do we lose a seat before it's over? We only have a few more minutes. How do we lose a seat because of populace? Is that a federal thing?
So, there's a certain amount of congressional representation you get. So even though the population went up in Michigan, the population in other states went up more than ours. And so we lost a congressional seat. The issue is we know that the census was taken in a COVID year. And knowing that Detroit is traditionally undercounted severely, we probably have a much more impressive population than was reported. So even if we do technically have a larger population, we still lost that seat because it's all based on census data. Hence why the Arab American community doesn't get a lot of those federal protections and rights and all that, because we don't have that checkbox on the census. You know how many things that checkbox impacts? Can't get into it because we don't have time, but
I'll have you back, I guarantee you, but again, God willing. I just remember when you said Detroit, I had this question in my mind all the time. What happened to Detroit now? They dear friends of mine in community and politics there, beside the mayor and the rest of them, they lost a seat. There's nobody, no black could maybe possibly win in a city of 600,000 people.
So Brenda Lawrence did step down from her congressional seat.
I know.
It's there's a lot of candidates that are going to put their hat into that ring. We'll see how it shakes down. But
with African American community,
we hope that Detroit has representation that reflects the city, right, and its population.
I have to do this, and I forgot about it. Paul,
Zizi.
You called me yesterday. So Zizi is in Toronto. Right by the airport, and my buddy Nabil owns it, and I was there, and he's got a spectacular food. Then he called me yesterday. He goes, "How are you? I see you on TV." I said, well, excuse me, I was just there, remember, last weekend. So Nabil, you want to get good food in Toronto, you go to Zizi, right? Zizi restaurant,
Zizi
Italian.
Trattoria.
Trattoria, pasta, right? So, Nabil, I've been trying like for 2 days to find your phone number, but I haven't found the phone number here on your menu.
The right there on the bottom.
No, this is don't split the bill.
What is this? Is there a phone number in the
You
bottom?
must see something because I got a hell of eyes, bro.
I got glasses.
I know you do.
Oh, it's not even on the back.
Nabil, ZZ, it's right by the airport and by Markham. And anybody should go to zz.com.
Markham's a beautiful city.
Markham's beautiful. Oh, you know that too?
Yes.
I'm moving you there anyway, so I can say it loud. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate your time.
I love you can do a show here on your own. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Paul.
Have you read your funerals?
No, I did not.
Oh, my God. Can you give him a few minutes?
I'm reading the menu.
No, read the funeral. Paul, go ahead, do that. Forgot, sorry.
أخوات وأخوات عزيزة مشونيلة رحمد مريا محسيثة جورجيت حنا تيلو بدهاو قورتدية صبرا يوم تخمشو شابا بشيث بقاود إسر مخشكة بقيتد لبد إيشو مذيتد وورن وبطر دخ تعزيتا بدهاو بقاود قاعد فارمينغتون هيلز مانر والإشوى بعاصرته محسيثة جورجيت حنا تيلو بدهاو قورتدية صبرا يوم تخمشو شابا بشيث بقاود إسرم خشكة بقيتد لبد إيشو بذيتد وورن وبطر الدغ بدهاو التعزيتا بقاود قاعد فارمينغتون هيلز مانر والإشوى بعاصرته همم شونيل رحمد مريا محسيا كمال يعقوب حنا بدهاو قورتدية صبرا يوم تخمشو شابا بشيث بقاود تريسر بلقد يوما بقيتد يمدى لها بساوثفيلد محسيا كمال يعقوب حنا بدهاو قورتدية صبرا يوم تخمشو شابا بشيث بقاود تريسر بلقد يوما بقيتد يمدى لها بساوثفيلد همم شونيل رحمد مريا محسيثة كاترينا أورها بولس قرياقوس بدهاو قورتدية يوم تشبثة بثايا شيث بقاود إسر مخشكة بقيتد لبديشو مذيتد وورن محسيثة كاترينا أورها بولس قرياقوس بدهاو قورتدية شبثة بثايا شيث بقاود إسر مخشكة بقيتد لبديشو مذيتد وورن ألام حاسيلا كلي وهوا ملكوثة دشمية
Welcome back, Akhawatha Khathwatha of John Zia Oram with Robala. I think it's supposed to snow tomorrow again. Be careful as driving. Every time a snowstorm comes, Paul and I go somewhere.
And then we get a million calls from people.
No, when you go on your social media, mind you, in Canada, I didn't go on social media on purpose, except answering Bilal's call. So thank you, Bilal. May God bless you.
I got a long week.
Do you?
I had my brother's birthday yesterday, my mom's birthday today, and my other brother's birthday on Friday.
Are we invited or to the same birthday?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay.
Let's just you did.
Should I play her happy birthday?
We'll do
happy birthday
we'll
for
do
his
her happy
mom.
birthday
Right now.
for my mom.
Play B1. Okay. Is that what you were asking me? I forgot. But I'll see what you did. I'd have got in trouble with the mom. Go ahead, play her happy
With
birthday.
our moms.
Yeah.
Gina.
Happy birthday, Gina.
Happy birthday, Gina. She speaks Arabic or?
She speaks everything.
Oh, she
Arabic,
does,
English,
because I
and
thought she
Chaldean.
only speaks Arabic.
She speaks everything.
Oh, Chaldean?
Sana Hanwa.
Faris Makawela.
That's her husband.
Oh, it is her husband.
Yeah,
That's your dad.
Laura.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday and God bless you. You got a great son here, and I'm sure all your boys are fine. You don't have a sister, right?
And I don't have my
Bilal's
sister.
got two
but
sisters.
my mom looks like my sister.
3 sisters I saw.
So happy birthday, Mom. I love you. Mwah. Just like John Zia Oram kiss. Mwah. Mwah.
Mommy, I love you. I love you, Gina. Happy birthday.
We
Your
love all
brothers
the
too,
moms.
right?
Yes. Happy birthday to my brothers yesterday, Peter, and Friday, Jeffrey.
Were they all born the same week?
Same week.
By who? Your mom had
Yes.
it. Oh, okay. I was just checking.
And we have Women's Day coming up in a couple weeks.
What does that mean?
International Women's Day.
Oh.
يوم المرأة العالمي.
Man.
International Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day, right?
Yes, coming
So
soon.
tell us the secret. Where'd you get your family for her birthday? I won't tell anybody.
What's the secret?
We're off the air right now. What did you give them?
It's coming.
We're not live. I'm telling you.
It's coming. I'm gonna give my
I trick
mom.
them all into
I'm gonna give my
live.
mom a lot of flowers.
That's right. A lot
So
of love.
she doesn't like attention.
Well, not the way I do it, you mean?
Like عجبانة attention. So ma with the, what I did is I posted a photo of me and her on Facebook, and then it was nonstop comments and likes, and she hates that.
So I give my mom for every year a rose, right?
Yeah.
And you know how many roses I gave her the last one. Yeah. I don't tell you her age, but every year I get a rose. So I got her 97 roses. And that was the most beautiful part. And she left. She even asked my sister, is he going to bring more roses this year? She goes, yeah, he'll bring a whole
And
truckload.
she was sitting in her chair.
She was sitting in her chair when I covered her with them. It's a beautiful feeling. Thank you. Talk about family, how you were doing. And thank your mom and dad and your sisters for being who you are. Thank you, akhawat wa khathwata. We'll see you Friday. Love you. Bye, mommy.
Mwah.